We are back reading more scary stories because I did not learn my lesson from last week. I am recording this during the daytime, like it's broad daylight outside, so hopefully I don't get as scared as last time, but I do get scared very easily, so probably not gonna help anyways. Thought my boyfriend got home from work. It wasn't my boyfriend. My boyfriend, who I live with, works as a teacher in a town about 15 minutes away by train. He gets home more or less at the same time every day, give or take an hour or so. I, on the other hand, work from home. In late January of this year, we'd gotten in a pretty big fight about something stupid. I can't even remember what it was about now. But it was one of those fights where we didn't speak to each other, text, call, or anything the whole day. So this afternoon, I was lying in bed getting work done. It was Tuesday and I was pretty sure his last class finished at 1 PM on Tuesdays, meaning he'd surely be home at 2:30. But around 1 PM, I heard the front door open and shut. I thought, I guess he's home an hour early today. It was normal for him to skip his last class every once in a while, so I didn't really think anything of it. In fact, I was mostly mentally preparing for an awkward post-fight, hey, how's it going conversation. So I continued to lie in bed and do my work and wait for him to come in and change his clothes. The bedroom door was closed and I had earplugs sort of half in, as I usually do when I'm working, but I can hear the heavy footsteps of him walking around the apartment as he always does. If we hadn't been mid-fight and I wasn't so preoccupied with the awkwardness of it all, I might have noticed it was strange how slow the footsteps were or how long he'd spent walking around the living room. But I was caught up in the dramatics of the fight and didn't think about it. I was just lying there, waiting for him to finally come in. Finally, the bedroom door slowly opened just a few inches. I turned my head towards the door and prepared to give him some sort of awkward, we've been fighting for 24 hours, smile. But the door didn't open more than a few inches. I looked and saw that it was a woman's hand with a red nail polish on the doorknob. Whoever was there slowly closed the door just as they had opened it, without entering the room. I jumped out of bed, ripped out my earplugs and sort of froze there for a few seconds while thinking rapidly. My first thought, that was not my boyfriend. Then I thought, could that have been his mum, his sister, the landlady? For some reason I concluded that it was surely his mum or sister, so I opened the bedroom door and walked into the living room. There wasn't anyone there, but the room smelled heavily of women's perfume. Then I came to my senses and realised his mum and sister don't have keys and have never came over before, and the landlady has never entered without permission. This was a stranger. I ran back into the bedroom and shut the door, now shaking heavily. There is a balcony connected to the bedroom, so despite the cold January rain, I stood on the balcony and called my boyfriend. He picked up and I asked him if his mom or his sister might have come over unannounced. He told me, no, don't move, I'm calling the police. The police were there in minutes and searched the whole apartment. Of course, nobody was there by this point. It was weird though, nothing was missing from the apartment, despite us keeping a jar full of money right by the entrance. Nothing was even touched. In fact, it seemed like the intruder came straight to the bedroom, saw my legs on the bed, panicked and left. Plus, you can't open that big wooden front door without a key. For a few days, my boyfriend and I were convinced that it was just the landlady being nosy, and I began to feel better. Nevertheless, we demanded that the landlady changed our locks. When she came to change them with her husband, she made a discovery. There was a square area by the keyhole that had been scratched away with something. The landlady said surely someone used tools to break into the apartment. Then a day or two later, my boyfriend told me, I have to tell you something, but don't freak out. He told me that the orange kitchen scissors were missing. I obviously freaked out. I tore apart the apartment looking for those scissors. It's been 6 months and the scissors are still gone, so the whole thing is just creepy and weird. A stranger breaks into a nice apartment but doesn't touch or take anything valuable, not even the money jar sitting right at the entrance. Takes scissors from the kitchen, goes straight to the bedroom, sees someone in bed and immediately leaves. I never got to meet the person who opened the door that day. I hope I never do. People confuse me so much. You're going to break into a house and do nothing. You put so much effort probably into breaking into this house. Like, you were scratching away at the door to break into this house. You leave the money that is right next to the door. You supposedly take some kitchen scissors or something, go up to this bedroom, see someone's in the bedroom, and then dip. This one's called Hooded Man in the Woods, which just creeps me out. My childhood best friend, Marie, and I were about 11 or 12 years old at the time. Marie's family had their own campsite in a provincial park about 2 hours from our hometown, and would spend the entire summer each year living in their camper out there. This particular summer, I was able to go and stay with them for a week, and we were excited to spend our time adventuring around the forest. On the last night I was there, we decided we wanted to hurry down to the ice cream shop by the lake before it closed. It was early evening at this point, still pretty bright out but beginning to lose light. The path we took was a short slope right next to the main road with maybe 10 feet of thick brush and trees in between. On the other side was the forest with more tall, thick brush. So we were walking along, not seeing a single other person on the path in front or behind us. We hear a sudden rustling and snapping of branches, similar to the sound of maybe a deer moving through the woods. I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but then the sound of running footsteps follow. Mary glances back and suddenly grabs my arm, urging me under her breath not to look back. At the same time, the running stops. I don't know why I didn't ignore her and get a look myself. I guess I could sense the very real fear in her voice and chose to listen. We both start to panic, getting that feeling like when you're running up the stairs after turning the basement light off. We pick up as much speed as we can without breaking into a sprint, knowing the ice cream shop is only about a minute walk away at this point. The path soon breaks and we are in the parking lot. Suddenly Marie steers me hard to the left, heading towards the lake and boat rental instead of continuing straight to the ice cream shop. And I go along with it silently, understanding the ice cream is no longer an interest right now. Marie is clearly panicking at this point, and we are both looking around, but it seems whatever scared her is nowhere in sight at this point. Marie walks up to the boat rental and gets us a kayak, and we climb in and begin to paddle out into the middle of the lake. As we paddle, she tells me there was a man behind us and that the man had stopped running at us very abruptly upon making eye contact with her. He had been wearing a long black coat with the hood up despite it being the middle of July, had a terrible smirk on his face, and she swore that as he stopped running, she saw him put something shiny away into his coat. He appeared to have just emerged out of the bushes after we walked past, given the sounds we had heard right before he came running onto the path. We reach the centre of the lake and stop paddling. I pull out my Nokia brick phone that my parents had, thank God, given me just in case. I hand it to Marie and tell her to call her parents to come pick us up. As the phone rings, I see her look out past me to shore and go pale, lifting a hand to point to what she's seeing. I turn and there was a man, stalking his way around the path that circled the edge of the lake, staring at us. We sat in the middle of the lake and watched him do 2 full laps, never looking away from us, before finally disappearing. It took a few tries to get a hold of her family. We were freaking out so bad the whole time. As the sun got lower and lower, we did manage to have someone come with a truck, but by the time we reached the shore, it was pretty dark outside. I don't know what we would have done if we hadn't been able to call for a ride. Looking back, I don't know why we didn't just go to the ice cream shop, inform an adult there and ask her parents to come get us then, but it worked out. We got back safe and we thankfully never saw that man again. What the It's hard and scary to believe that people like that man exist and are just, you know, amongst everyone else. Gonna interrupt the video real quick to say please like, comment and subscribe because it helps me out a bunch and I really, really, genuinely appreciate it. Like, it makes me so happy whenever I see I get a new comment or someone's liked the video or someone subscribed. It genuinely makes my day 10 times better whenever I see something like that. Also, if you want to see what goes through my mind when I'm not filming, then you can follow my Twitter. I'll put it up here and it is linked in the description. As always, I tweet dumb stuff like this and like this, so if you want to see more stuff like that on your Twitter following page, then follow me. Okay, I'm done rambling now, bye. The title of this one is called She Came Through My Ceiling. I am scared and intrigued at the same time. This just happened a few days ago and I'm extremely shaken up. Some backstory. I live on the 2nd floor of a 3-level apartment. We have a crawl space that connects to all the apartments. We aren't sure why it's there, but we all have stuff in it and none of us would even attempt to go inside of it, so we all still felt pretty safe. The other night the sun was setting, but it wasn't pitch black out or anything yet. I'm walking through my living room when I see a short woman on my fire escape looking into my windows. This is extremely bizarre considering it's still semi-light outside and she had to literally get onto our fire escape somehow. We have 2 windows that the fire escape reaches and she was looking into both, but didn't see me. I crawled onto the ground and my heart was racing as I watched her try to open the windows. I didn't know what the fuck to do because my phone was in the other room. After what felt like an eternity, she finally left. I went back into my room to get my phone to text my landlord and to call the cop. I came back into the living room and was looking out the windows to see if I could locate her when all of a sudden I hear a weird noise coming from the ceiling. We have one of those tile ceilings made out of separate slabs of cork/wood. I look up to see one of the slabs lifted up and 2 eyes staring at me. I have no clue how she got into the crawl space so quickly, but I grabbed the nearest thing to me, which was a broom, and started hitting her with it through the ceiling and called the cops as soon as she crawled away. They showed up and searched the place but didn't find her until a few days later when she was on someone else's fire escape. The cops said that she was definitely on some hard drugs and that she was violent towards them. I'm glad she's gone, but whoever that crazy lady that came through my ceiling was, let's not meet again. These stories, I don't know how to feel. Right, this last one is called Window Creeper. I was 20, living alone on the ground floor of an apartment building. My living room windows face a small parking lot for the building, which wasn't gated. I'd stay up late watching TV or playing games almost every night. It was winter when I first moved in, so I'd have the blinds down at night to help keep the cold air out. Summer came and there was no AC in the apartment, so I'd open the windows and blinds at night for cool air. One night I'm laying on the couch watching TV when I get that feeling that I'm being watched. I look over the window and a man has his hands and face pressed against the screen, merely 3 feet from where I was lying, just watching me. I let out a blood-curdling scream and he did not even blink. Terrified, I jumped up and grabbed the phone and screamed that I was calling the cops. He still just stood there, completely motionless and dead-eyed. At that point I yelled that I'm getting the neighbour and started walking to the door, and he finally took off. I locked the window and stayed up all night completely on edge. My boyfriend at the time came over and stayed for a full week. He made sure to leave the blinds open and sat at the edge of the couch closest to the window to make it known I wasn't alone. The creeper didn't show up again, so eventually I got comfortable thinking it was an isolated incident of some rando wandering around the parking lot to break into cars. Maybe another 3 weeks after that, I get home late from waiting tables and park in the lot. I get changed, grab a snack and head into the living room to play games. I start to raise the blinds and open the windows to let the cool air in, and the creeper is standing right there with his face pressed against the screen. He was not standing in the parking lot when I pulled in, as I parked right by my window. I can only assume he was waiting around the corner of the building, watching me come home and timing my movements. No, and no. This time I grabbed the phone and immediately called the cops. I was shaking, crying, completely hysterical. The creeper takes off. The cops come and say they'll have someone patrol the block when they can, and my boyfriend immediately comes over. He wants to stay with me until I can get out of there, so I start looking at different apartments. Another 3-4 weeks or so later, I have an apartment lined up on a high floor in a doorman building, because at this point, fuck that. My boyfriend had to go out of town for a few days, so I decided to go stay at my friend's place because I certainly wasn't going to be there alone. I'm at my friend's place for 2 nights, but wanted to run home and grab a few things I'd forgotten. She goes with me for obvious reasons, and we go in the afternoon, not after dark. We decide to hang out for a bit and play games together because it's daylight and there is activity around the building. No AC, so I hesitantly raise the blinds to get fresh air. I'm terrified opening them, then laugh to myself because I do it. And of course, no one is there. I open the actual window to see 2 large holes cut into the screen right above the latches you push in to lift it. They were definitely not there 2 days ago. My blood ran entirely cold. The creeper knew my boyfriend was gone. He was watching and saw his car was gone. I'd left my car there as my friend picked me up, and we always left the light on in the living room to make the creeper think we were awake. So he saw my car, thought I was home, saw the light on, yet proceeded to cut holes into the screen to break in. I have no idea if he actually gained access, but seeing how bold he was terrified me. How long had he been watching me, learning my patterns and getting gradually more aggressive with every interaction? I still sometimes get a chill when I raise my blinds, and it took a long time getting comfortable living in anything but a high rise. Thanks for the lifelong PTSD, creeper. Let's not meet again. What? I'm never opening those curtains ever again. No, never gonna do it. Nope. I don't know where to go from here. I'm not sleeping tonight. Right, that is enough of that because I'm truly scared. I can never leave my house again. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that I didn't just scare the absolute shit out of myself for nothing. If you made it to the end of this video, then please like, comment and subscribe because I had to go through that, so I deserve some kind of reward. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you whenever I next see you.